All right, so we're recording. It is the 21st of May. Oh, Lisa just joined us, so that's good. We're recording already, Lisa. And I want to welcome everybody here tonight. We finished up our little bit about health last week. And so back when I was doing that, I'm always thinking ahead to what are we going to do when we finish one series. And there was a really good webinar on mindset. So I have picked that apart, little pieces out of it that's on our webinar. And we're going to see how you guys feel about it. And we'll probably pick up mindset for our next series to cover. Lisa, what happened to you?
Oh, you don't want to know. I played the adult version of Pickup Sticks. I picked up 2 cans of sticks and 7 bags of leaves. And despite every kind of bug spray imaginable, I have about 30 yellow fly bites on me, and I was miserable. I had to shower.
Okay, good. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm used to seeing you all primped up and beautiful.
Oh, I'm miserable.
Well, I can believe that. So, go ahead and share. Everybody can see, right? We're good?
Good.
Okay. I hope we don't get fuzzies again. I have updated our habit champions, our health coaches. And as you see, Denise, I have taken that picture that you have posted, and wow. So how long have you been doing this, and bring us up to date?
It's been 12 weeks, and then so I've lost 30 pounds in 12 weeks, but I had lost 7 prior to that, so 37 total. So I'm happy. I'm happy.
Oh my gosh! I mean, stunning.
Yeah.
You don't mind that I updated it, do you?
No, not at all. Thank you for doing that.
And as I'm looking at this, we put this up every week, but we don't really say anything about it. And you look at Marsha, and you look at Dorothy and Lisa and me with those kids. Those kids are teenagers now. They're not babies anymore. And, it's been a journey for all of us. And in the process of us taking care of ourselves, we've been helping other people learn how to take care of themselves. We're around now for 9 years, I think. And we have a lot to show for it.
Put things in perspective. Denise, my picture was January and December, and that's 40 pounds, but I didn't lose it as fast as you did, so kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. I'm just so happy right now. You wouldn't believe. And you know what? Can I share one thing?
Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can see.
Look what I got.
Hold on. Let me get there. Show me.
Look what I got.
Yay!
The new one.
Oh, you got your books.
Yeah.
See it because it was dark.
My order came in 3 days for my food and 3 days for my books.
Wow, that's awesome.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now we can
bragging, Denise.
No,
I know she was like, whatever.
I wasn't going to say nothing. I wasn't bringing anything up. That was an experience that we all had. That's for sure. We're better for it, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So go ahead, Dorothy. I'm sorry.
Lisa mentioned the time frame. Now, how many weeks has it been, Denise?
12.
12 weeks, and you've lost 37 pounds?
Wow. Well, I lost 7 prior to that, so 30 in the Octavia program.
I lost
12.
Go ahead.
And I'm sorry, in 12 weeks, yes.
Okay. I lost 40 pounds in 20 weeks.
Wow.
In 20 weeks?
Wow.
I lost 70 pounds in 5 months. So that's 20 weeks too, right? Sort of. Yeah.
You lost how much, Dorothy? I'm Connie. How much?
I lost 70 pounds in 5 months.
Wow, that's great.
I was really faithful. Yeah.
I was faithful too, and I lost 40 pounds in 20 weeks.
Mhm. So what's 5 months? You multiply that 4.3. It's about the same. Yeah. So excellent, excellent. Anybody else want to share? Do you remember Martha? I can't hear you. You got yourself muted.
I am?
Not Martha Toth.
Oh,
I lost 58 pounds in 5 months. 5 months. No.
So let me put this in
4 months.
perspective. I saw my sister. I got on the program. After I got on the program, Martha got on the program. Gary got on the program. Gary is Dorothy's brother-in-law. Dorothy's married to Dorothy's sister. So all of us were in the very we had no clue what we were doing. We had nobody telling us how to do it. So we just really were flying by the seat of our pants. If that's what they said, that's what we did. And here we are all these years later. And then they said to us, or they said to me, I don't know what door. Let's ask this question. What was your reason for becoming a health coach? I became a health coach because Gay said to me all the things that are pertinent to be a health coach about paying it forward and everything. But when she got to the part about if you're really serious about keeping your weight off of you, that people who become health coaches are 70% more likely to maintain their weight loss. And when she said that, I had this spell of thinking of that. If I was really serious about this, and I'm a big numbers person, and that statistic was true, then I felt like that I almost had to do it for myself so I could mean what I was saying. So that was my big reason. It's because so many people who become health coaches keep the weight off. What about you, Dorothy?
My husband was diabetic. He died from the side effects of diabetes. I mean, and he said to me, you should be a health coach.
I remember that.
So I knew that I needed to be.
Wow. That's cool. Lisa?
The change in my health and my life was so profound. I wanted to help other people feel as good as I feel.
And that's to pay it forward. Martha Pickering?
Basically because after going to the convention and seeing people who have maintained their weight, and I was on the program, and the enthusiasm for helping others.
You joined after you
When I
went.
when I left that convention, I told Connie I want to be a coach.
Yeah, that's true. You hadn't even talked about it up until then. And Denise?
No, I had no desire to.
Yeah.
Up
Why
until
did you
the
become a health coach, Denise?
Because I want to stay committed, and I feel like if I'm doing it, if I'm a coach, then I'm gonna stay as well. And I'm into statistics. Forget it. Now I can't say it.
numbers.
As well.
Yeah.
And
numbers.
I feel like I'll stay committed. Yep. I want to stay committed. That's where I'm at. And I feel like that's the answer for me.
Well, it's our little community, and it's growing all the time. And I appreciate everybody and the changes that we're making in our little army. All right, we'll go back to our PowerPoint, except it's a keynote. Okay, so I'm finding the webinars, and I tend to find them on this day, and I post them. So last week's is posted. Last week's was David Bush. It got posted this evening, so you could kind of start depending on them being there. Because when I'm doing this keynote for tonight, I go find out what tomorrow night's is going to be about, and then I post if it's available. I post the one that was last week. So anyone who didn't catch it, they're all good. They all have something in them. And I heard Gay tell someone that I did a 3-way call with. It could be somebody in this room right now, but she said that the webinars, the learning piece, is actually helps you do the long-term goals. It's the education piece. And when she said that, it rang true for me. I could see that, because not only that, I learn something every time I listen to someone else. This week's is about NEAT, and I went and picked up some verbiage for you guys. So NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT, is the energy expended for everything we do that is not sleeping, eating, or sports-like exercise. It ranges from the energy expended walking to work, typing, performing yard work, yay, Lisa, undertaking agriculture tasks, and fidgeting. Even trivial physical activity increases metabolic rate substantially, and it is the cumulative impact of a multitude of actions that culminate in an individual's daily NEAT. It is therefore not surprising that NEAT explains a vast majority of an individual's non-resting energy needs. Epidemiological studies highlight the importance of culture in promoting and quashing NEAT. Agriculture and manual workers have high NEAT, whereas wealth and industrialized appear to decrease NEAT. Physiological studies demonstrate intriguingly that NEAT is modulated with changes in energy balance. NEAT increases with overfeeding and decreases with underfeeding. Thus, NEAT could be a critical component in how we maintain our body weight and or develop obesity or lose weight. The mechanism that regulates NEAT is unknown. However, hypothalamic factors have been identified that specifically and directly increase NEAT in animals. By understanding how NEAT is regulated, we may come to appreciate that spontaneous physical activity is not spontaneous at all, but carefully programmed. So I suspect this is going to be a great subject tomorrow night, and I hope you guys can catch it live. It's so much more fun to be there and in the chat process with all the other people who are attending. I love these online webinars and Zooms. So what I have done here, this is our webinar that's been back in April, the early part of April, that they did on mindset. And I actually pieced it. I took what I wanted from it, and it's only a small portion, but I wanted us to listen to that.
One thing that I absolutely love about the Optavia program.
I don't think I shared with sound. Let me do that. Mm-hmm. Sorry. There we go. All those unscripted moments, right?
One thing that I absolutely love about the Optavia program is how we focus on the healthy mind. And I just love really thinking about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And I love that if you think about it, with Optavia, a lot of us are working on our healthy bodies and our healthy minds, but if you have the same old thinking, you're going to get the same old results. And we've actually had a lot of Habits of Health webinars, podcasts that have been focusing on your thoughts. And I love that because it's such an important piece to really making those lifelong changes. Because you can, honestly, you can go on a diet, you can, restrict your eating, you can, whatever you do to lose weight, you could do that. But the facts are that a lot of people who lose weight, they gain it back. And what we want to help our clients and our coaches do in Optavia is change that mindset, because it's not just learning that salad is healthier than hamburgers, because I think most people, even down to little tiny kids in this country, they know that. They know that salad's healthier than hamburgers, but what you really need to learn is how to change your thinking.
And I love that you said, someone in the chat mentioned they don't like the word diet, and something that you taught me as my coach is that our diet is something we eat. It's not something we do. Diet as a verb needs to just go away. And when we're talking about mindset, it's hard to change. It's painful, and it's a little bit uncomfortable. And like that last slide said, if you don't change anything, then you're just going to get the same results over and over and over again.
I love that, Kat. So let's dive in a little bit to the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. So let's just zoom in a little bit. So a fixed mindset, if you have this mindset, it leads to a desire to look smart and a tendency to avoid challenges. This one has the belief that intelligence is static. And I actually think that this was taught like 50 years ago. Don't quote me on that statistic. Any statistic, I should usually run that by my husband because he knows them a lot better. But a lot of people, they just thought, oh, you were born with a certain IQ, your intelligence quotient, and that's what you have. And good job. Hopefully you got lucky. But it's interesting because newer research, and Carol Dweck actually did a lot of research on this, found that really it's not like that. So Kat, I want you to go into this just a little bit more on what the growth mindset.
I would love to. This is one of my most favorite topics to study. And if you haven't read Carol Dweck's book, I strongly recommend picking it up, listen to it on Audible. It's a great, great listen. As a former collegiate athlete, I have a bunch of friends that are still in that space, and there are a lot of teams that are being required in our country right now that when they come to school, the coach says, I don't want to see you in practice until you've read mindset. I mean, that's how important this is. The growth mindset is a key to becoming a great learner and achieving our goals in every aspect of life. So everything we do, and a lot of it, in my mindset, it relates to sports because that's where I learned so much. But I grew up with a very intelligent brother, and I thought, well, he's the smart one. But really with the growth mindset, intelligence can be developed, and we don't need to think that we are what we are. And when you catch yourself saying, I am this or I am that, that's a clue that you're living in a fixed mindset a little bit, that you're labeling yourself and you're limiting yourself. So, people say to me, I have a lot of clients, sometimes they say, I'm a foodie. I just love food. And I think that's fantastic that you love food, but you can always change the way you relate to food. And with mindset, it's just this desire to learn, developing a growth mindset within yourself and everyone around you. Like if you have a team, if you're a coach, if you're in a family and you want a support system around you, it's really one of the most important things you can teach people is that you can grow and change in every aspect in life. As with challenges, as it says on this slide, people with a growth mindset, they embrace challenge. They know things are going to be hard. People with a fixed mindset, they don't want to look bad. They kind of avoid things that test them. And I know we have a couple more slides about this. Do you want to go to the next one, Amber?
Yeah, before we go on, I wanted to talk a little bit more about challenges. And one thing that I love about Optavia is our leadership principles. And one of the leadership principles that we really focus on is we seek growth, we embrace obstacles as the way. And honestly, like just what Kat just went over with the fixed versus the growth mindset, I mean, that encapsulates like exactly what she was talking about, that we want to seek that growth. We want to see challenges in our life as something that helps us develop, something that helps us to learn and it isn't just something to like get through. Because I think a lot of times we go, oh, we have this challenge, we have this obstacle, let's just try to get through it. If you look at it, if you say, okay, how is this obstacle the way? How is this the answer to what I've been seeking, to what I'm trying to develop and learn and grow in my life? So I wanted to just kind of put that plug in, but let's go to the next one here.
It becomes more about not where you are now, but where you're committed to going. And then that obstacle, it might look like a giant boulder in your path, but as you are committed more to where you're going, then it becomes a little tiny pebble in the road. So going forward with this, we look at obstacles and we see it as a giant boulder, and we go, that's too big. I don't have that. As with a fixed mindset. And a lot of times when we come up against obstacles, we do just kind of turn away and go the other direction. People with a growth mindset, they persist in the face of setbacks. And I remember growing up, and I had coaches that taught me growth mindset, and they didn't necessarily call it that back then, but they said, you either win or you learn. And I learned more in loss in my life as an athlete than I've ever learned winning. And I think it's this principle right here that you look at the obstacles and you persist with effort. For example, with the growth mindset, you see it as the path to mastery. So going on with some other principles that Carol Dweck looked at. She looked at criticism and how people take feedback. And someone with a growth mindset, they take feedback as personal. They get offended. They get defensive. They look for ways to prove you wrong. And I don't know if any of you have ever had your kids, had your kids or someone else tell you, no, that's not it. That's not what it is. When you give them some feedback, and it's like, why did you ask? Because it really is. It is a way that people with a growth mindset, they use it to learn. They actually like feedback, even though they know it might hurt their ego a little bit to hear it. They're like, hey, give it to me. I know I need to learn, and it's okay. And they look at them. So there's a quote coming up, so I won't share that, but it's a very powerful quote specifically on this criticism piece. People with a fixed mindset, let's look at how they look at the success of others. They compare, they get threatened, they feel less than. We often say comparison is the theft of joy. In a lot of our Optavia families say this, and it's true, because someone might have quicker results with weight loss or building a business, depending on what they're doing here, and others look at this with a fixed mind. I'm not as good as they are. I could never do that. I can't even stick with it. And we see people kind of feel threatened instead of embracing, like, oh, I'm going to learn from that person. Success leaves clues. And when you see someone rocking the program and you see someone rocking their life, look at the things they're doing with a growth mindset perspective, and use it as inspiration. That's why there are so many self-help gurus, you guys. There's so many people out in the world making a lot of money helping people live better lives, because people are starting to understand, oh, they're doing something right. I want to learn what they're doing. I want to learn from their success, rather than going, yeah, they're good. They're successful and whatever. I could never do that. So as you see on the screen, it says, as a result, they might plateau early and achieve less than their full potential. When they look at the success of other people, they limit themselves with a fixed mindset. With a growth mindset, they reach even higher levels of achievement, higher than they could ever imagine, because they're going in that direction, and they have that infinite growth possibility within them. So, and it gives them a greater sense of free will.
I love that, Kat. And that goes along with one of our other habits of transformational leadership that we teach in Optavia, which is we take full responsibility, we play above the line. And it's so interesting, because when you have that growth mindset, you're able to say, okay, what can I do to get better? What is my part in this? Because I love this, that somebody said this, I can't remember who, but they were talking about where you are in your life right now. So if you're listening to this, if you're on live, or if you're listening to playback on the podcast or the YouTube channel, kind of take some stock of where you are right now. Where are you at in your weight? Where are you at in your finances? Where are you at with your family? like your marriage and your children. And not to say that you have control over everything and you're just like the puppet master, but more like where you're at now is really it's just a consensus. It's just a compilation of everything that you've been doing up to this point. And let's just take weight, for example. So where you are at today is a result of what you've been doing for the last month, 6 months, 6 years, depending on how long you've maybe been with us in Optavia on your program, and the choices that you make and the things that you choose to, how you choose to fuel your body, your diet, right? Which is only the things that you put in your mouth. And just kind of taking full responsibility. Okay, where am I at right now? Is this where I want to be? And also looking at trajectory. Like, are you moving towards where you want to be, or are you facing in a completely different direction?
It shows that people with a growth mindset always learn, they always grow, and they always achieve more than people who sit fixed in their mindsets.
I love that. And it's also good to remember that you don't always just, like, because you have this growth mindset, that you just get there and you achieve everything and everything's great and happy. And a lot of people are asking in the chat, what's the name of the book again? And it's Mindset by Carol Dweck. Is that correct, Kat?
Yes.
Yes. So it's good to remember that you do need to have that grit, because when you come upon setbacks, or some people call them failures, or you have a loss, like in a game, like in sports, you're never going to win every single game that you play. It's what can I learn from that loss that is the powerful part.
So this is the book, and this is what we're going to continue on and see how much we can absorb from that each Tuesday when we meet. And I picked up a very short video from her.
We took 5th graders. We give them puzzles to solve.
So you see these blocks? Can you tell me what color is on that side?
Red, yellow, white, blue.
All right, so what I want you to do is put these blocks together so that the picture on top matches the picture here, all right?
First, we give children a set of easier puzzles to do.
Now here's the next one.
When these 9 and 10-year-olds successfully put together the puzzle, the children are praised for either their intelligence,
wow, you did really well. You must be really smart at these.
Or the effort they made.
Wow, you did really well. You must have tried really hard at these.
Then we give them a much harder set of problems, ones that they might, in fact, struggle with.
Here's the next one.
And we see what happens to their confidence. Do they think, oh, this means I'm not good at it after all? Do they stop liking the puzzles? Or do they maintain their confidence and think, well, it just needs more effort or strategies? What happens to their motivation?
You ready to go on?
Ta-da! We also ask them, well, which problems do you want to work on some more? Those easier ones or those harder ones? And generally we find that kids who have been praised for their intelligence really want to go back to those easier ones that were their claim to fame.
This is a sign of a fixed mindset, the belief that intelligence is innate and can't be changed.
What we found was that children thought that difficulty meant they weren't smart or they weren't good at the task.
So you seem to have more trouble with this one, and I want to know why you think that was.
Probably because I'm not good at these problems.
A very discouraging conclusion.
Other children show a growth mindset.
The growth mindset is like this. No matter who you are, you can always become a great deal smarter. They feel smart when they're working really hard on something difficult and making progress.
So if I gave you some more problems, would you like more problems like these that are pretty easy so you'll do well, or problems like these that'll be hard but you might learn a lot from them?
these.
More like these?
Students praised for effort generally want those hard ones that they can learn from. What I've learned from my research is that kids, and I think adults too, are exquisitely sensitive to what's going on in a situation, what other people value, what they're being judged on. What is that voice in our head saying? Is it saying fixed mindset things like, oh, you better not make a mistake, you better look smart, people are judging you? Or is it saying growth mindset things? Here's an opportunity, here's a mistake I can learn from. I feel smart when I do something difficult.
This was my daddy!
So now we'll share our thoughts with each other. Let's get me out of here. And the first question that I would ask is, everybody on board to take this as our next series?
Like it.
Yeah, I am. Sure.
Okay. Would anybody not? Do you see the advantage of delving in, digging in deeper to how we think? Because I think how we think really determines everything that we do. So let's start with Martha Pickering. Let's start with you, and you can share your thoughts about what we covered tonight.
I think the biggest thing that I've been going through is my mindset. I have a tendency to relive the past, let the past dominate me. And I have done a lot of improvement in my mindset in the last 6 months. I have a long ways to go, but I'm working at it. And I think this will really be a good series for us.
Oh, well, good. Can you give us an example of some way you've grown in your thinking?
Well, I have come from letting everything that my past childhood and whatever control my thoughts. I was always like poor me type of attitude. And I think I have come quite a ways recently in that, you know, it's not just me that has bad things happen to them. Everybody does. And it's how we handle it. And I think I'm handling it probably 92% better.
I'm going to tell you what, that was excellent. And we're talking about the victim mentality. And that is definitely in the fixed mindset. That was very good, Marcia. I'm so, you make me feel, you know, really good hearing you talk like that. Who are you going to pass to? Thank you.
Dorothy.
Oh, wow. I like to learn. I like to be challenged, but I don't like criticism. I do everything I can not to be criticized. I don't like it.
I'm sure we'll study something on that. That would be cool.
I don't like to be.
And I don't think anybody likes criticism, honestly.
I go out.
Sometimes we need it.
I'll pass to Marianne.
Okay, I would say, speaking about like the set mindset, that I've always done kind of like Eeyore. No, woe is me. Everybody knows Eeyore. Am I right?
Yes.
Right? Am I lying? So, and actually, it's very easy for me to fall into that sad, woe is me kind of thing. So this will be good for me. So I passed to my sister, Denise.
I loved how they said that, and I don't want to be like this. I don't want to have that fixed mindset and win. I want to have a growth mindset and learn. I do like to learn, and I do want to, I just thought that was really, the whole thing was good. I've got a lot of notes here, but I don't want to be closed-minded or fixed-minded and have my own way and think I'm right. I really do want to learn.
We got a good subject then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who you passing to? You got Martha talk. You got Lisa. You got
Lisa.
Martha. Okay.
Okay,
You
so
look better, Lisa.
Yeah, how's she looking there?
She's looking better.
this is an outstanding topic. I'm going to own that I am more of a growth mindset person. However, I could relate to your woe is me, Marianne. But mine wasn't. Mine was more illness related. Woe is me. Victim, poor me. I was in a pity party for 20 years, literally, until I got back. But the growth mindset, I always like to think you can't fix what you don't know is broken. But there's such a thing as constructive criticism and just hurtful criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
So if it's just hurtful criticism, then the new thing I learned is that hurt people hurt people. So if somebody is just being hurtful to you, or somebody, now my switch is when somebody's being hurtful to me, instead of being like, oh, they're being mean to me, I am looking back at them and thinking, what is hurting them that's causing them to treat me this way? And essentially pour some love on them instead of getting all up in arms about, oh, they're being mean to me. Secondly, I guess I got used to valuing, it's not necessarily criticism, but in the military, you get pro and con marks every 6 months. So they tell you what you did good and what you can do better. So, and a lot of times, some criticism that might hurt might be, you know, again, there's just meanness and then there's constructive criticism. I prefer for somebody to, like, for instance, line dancing. You know, I'm doing a step wrong. I want my teacher to tell me, not let me just do it the wrong way. You know, and my teacher was actually, until I said, no, tell me, she was hesitant to say, no, you're off a beat on that or whatever. So I think criticism is all in how you look at it. But I'm definitely looking forward to more on the growth mindset. Matter of fact, I just put that book in Audible, Mommy.
Okay.
So, yeah, I like it.
You're passing
I'm
to
passing to Martha.
Martha Toth.
Yeah, Martha Toth. We have too many Marshes and Marthas in
I know. Mama.
I think I go back and forth between the two. Sometimes it's quiet, here I am mindset, but most of the time it's, I'll get it. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna find what I need to know and at least give it as big a shot as I can. And I think that's why kind of research is a biggie with me, with medical research and stuff. And when I think about my children in school that I taught, they came from classrooms that they knew they were the slow one in the class, and they knew they were not real smart. But when they came to the learning disability class, they heard that they were wonderful and that they try hard. And if you'd like to try this, you can. And if you can do 10 of these instead of 200, I'll know you know it. That kind of thing. The positiveness of a person that you have to live with, your parent or teachers, whoever, can make a big difference on your mindset.
That's true. Who are you passing to?
Marcia.
Go Bird Mom.
Okay. I think it was a really great topic, and you know, it sounds really good to say that I'd like to be open-minded, but I'm basically mostly closed-minded. I see all the really, and I think it's held me back all my life pretty much because I never really accomplished anything because of that mindset. So it's really opening up my mind to this now, and I'm going to try to break out of it. But I'm basically closed-minded.
But not as much as you used to be at all. I mean, you're not even near the same person. You are amazing. Yeah, you drink water now.
That's what I was just thinking about. You drinking water.
That was a big one.
That's a major thing right there. That's opening that door up.
Yeah. 2 thumbs up on that one.
Oh, God.
You want to pass to Tony now?
Sure, Tony.
Best
Go
for
ahead.
last.
Well, I know I like that subject. I like on the mindset. I always want to learn more than one thing. Doing 2 or 3 things at a time, trying to learn more and more and more. And when I was teaching in school, I was telling the kids, I'm not going to teach you anything today, but I'm going to learn you something. When you get out of here, you have to learn something. So I'm learning you something. And that's the way I want to learn, and get it. Instead of, I'm going to read something. I'm going to teach myself. You're going to learn yourself something. So learn has been my goal in life. I want to know more. Even today, I'm constantly reading something to learn something. But I'm going to use it today, tomorrow. How do you ever know when you're going to use something you learn? So, yeah. I like the idea of learning.
I have something too, and a lot of what we're doing, it's about location. So I think one of the benefits of this topic is we can begin to learn whether we're growth or fixed. We can begin to identify when we're in one or the other and shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think all of us are in both at different times. I do.
Which goes back to your
I don't
choice.
believe we're an either or.
Yeah.
And,
Goes
and,
back to your choice too.
Say that again, Martha.
It goes back to your choice. You choose at times. You choose which mindset you're going to be in.
And I think that's probably what this whole thing's going to be about, is making better choices. I loved when I'll put the cherry on top. I loved when she talked about her coach teaching her, you either win or you learn. What a great concept. And then when they talked about comparison is the thief of joy. I couldn't help but think about when we started talking about our stories a long time ago, and we're each saying this pounds and that many months, and I heard nobody comparing. I just heard everybody stating the case the way it was. There was none of the comparison going on in here. So I thought that was really good. And then obstacle is the way. We've been learning about the obstacle being the way, and I was surprised when they brought that up in here. And I don't think I've ever had the obstacle is the way explained as well as they did. And it's when something is happening to you that's hard, what can you learn from that? That's a great question for that. I've always looked to how can I overcome it, but thinking what can I learn from it is, I think, a better approach. And so that's it for me, kiddos. Is everybody good tonight?
Good.
I thank you all for coming, and next week we'll cover our first lesson with Miss Carol.
Do you have any Benadryl?
Yes.
No, I'm serious. Do you have
Always.
Benadryl?
Yes, we have Benadryl. Come on by.
Going to the store requires